Long ago, in the sun-drenched hills of Judah, lived a man named Obadiah. His name, meaning servant of Yahweh, was a common one in his day. But there was nothing ordinary about the message he carried. Obadiah wasn't a famous prophet like Isaiah or Elijah. In fact, the Bible only records one prophecy from him, but though his words were brief, they echoed through time with power and purpose. Around 800 to 900 BC, as kingdoms rose and fell, Obadiah stood as a voice of warning and justice. His message was aimed directly at the nation of Edom, proud descendants of Esau. They had turned their backs on Israel in its time of need, even helping foreign armies destroy Jerusalem. The Edomites, perched high in their rocky cities, believed they were untouchable. But Obadiah, speaking for God, warned that their pride would be their downfall. He spoke of coming judgment, not just for Edom, but for all nations who stood against God. In doing so, Obadiah introduced a powerful phrase, the day of the Lord. It was a day when God's justice would shine, when the proud would fall, and the faithful would be restored. Later prophets like Joel would pick up this theme, building on the foundation Obadiah laid. Though we know little about the man himself, his words live on, a single chapter packed with divine truth. Obadiah reminds us that even the quietest voices can speak volumes when they carry the word of God. Obadiah's prophecy thundered with a warning that cut through time. His message came in two parts. First, a judgment aimed directly at Edom, the proud kingdom of red stone, and then a wider warning to the nations of the world. Edom sat southeast of the Dead Sea, in a land called Transjordan. Its name, meaning red, matched the sandstone cliffs that glowed crimson in the sun. Towering above the valleys was Mount Seir, a rugged fortress reaching nearly 2,000 feet high. Nestled into these cliffs were the cities of Bozrah and Selah, later known as Petra, key stops on ancient trade routes linking Arabia to Europe. The Edomites were the descendants of Esau, the red-haired brother of Jacob. They were clever and skilled, carving homes and temples into rock, building great cities in impossible places. But for all their brilliance in stone, they were hollow in spirit. Obadiah condemned them as godless. Archaeologists would later uncover their dark practices: altars for human sacrifice, worship of false gods, and hearts filled with pride. Edom's pride became its curse. They boasted, "No one can bring us down from here." But Obadiah's voice cut through the canyon walls. "Though you soar like the eagle and make your nest among the stars, God will bring you down." His prophecy warned that Edom's trust in its high walls, allies, and wealth would not save them. Their downfall would come not from outside alone, but from within. Their pride would blind them until it was too late. As Obadiah spoke, the winds howled through Mount Seir, as if echoing God's judgment. The proud kingdom of red would soon learn that no fortress, however high, can stand against the justice of the Lord. Obadiah's voice grew stronger as his warning sharpened. "You will be wiped from the earth, and you won't even see it coming." The message was clear. Edom's pride had blinded them, and their fall would be sudden and complete. He told them why. They had not only turned from God, but had turned against his people. When Israel was attacked, Edom didn't help. Instead, they cheered. They looted the fallen cities. They even joined forces with Israel's enemies, the Babylonians, Philistines, and Arabs. When Jerusalem was crushed in 587 BC, the Edomites stood by, celebrating its ruin and aiding in its destruction. But judgment was coming. As the years passed, Obadiah's words proved true. By around 450 BC, the Edomites had vanished from their land. No longer did the red cliffs of Petra echo with their prideful laughter or the sounds of bustling markets. By 312 BC, a new people, the Nabateans, had taken over Petra. They built their own cities in the rocks, but the Edomites were gone, and they didn't return. Even centuries later, when the Romans destroyed the Jewish temple in 70 AD, the Edomites were nowhere to be found. No army, no city, not even a scattered remnant. They had vanished from history, just as Obadiah had foretold. It was not just a story of one nation's fall, but a lesson carved into time itself. Pride may build walls, but it also blinds. And when justice comes, even the strongest cliffs can crumble. Obadiah, the humble servant of Yahweh, had spoken only once, but his single message echoed louder than many. In the silence where Edom once stood, his prophecy still whispers, "The Lord sees, the Lord acts, and his word never fails." Obadiah's message did not end with Edom. In the closing verses of his prophecy, the view widened, from one nation's downfall to the destiny of the whole world. "The day of the Lord is near for all nations," he declared. What happened to Edom would happen to any nation that walked in pride and violence. No one was above God's justice. Obadiah saw a time when there would be no survivors left in Edom's land. But he also saw something more, a promise unfolding through the ages. One day, Israel would return and take possession of the land once ruled by its enemies. Justice would not just tear down what was wrong, it would rebuild what was right. This part of Obadiah's vision is a powerful reminder that God's justice is not just about punishment. It's about restoration. It's about setting things right. The proud fall, but the faithful rise. And in the end, it is not man who rules the nations, it is God alone. From Obadiah's short but mighty book, we learn deep truths. First, like Jacob, we are called to be patient, trusting in God's promises, even when the wait feels long. Second, God always keeps his word. Edom's fall, Israel's return, and the enduring truth of God's justice all came exactly as he said. And finally, Obadiah points us to the future. A day is coming when God will reign over all nations. His kingdom will be established, not with pride or violence, but with righteousness and peace. Obadiah may have spoken only once, but his message was timeless. In just one chapter, he gave the world a glimpse of God's justice, his faithfulness, and his eternal reign. And that is a story worth remembering.